Hi, my name is Mr. Hussain and I'm one of the RS consultants for Harris Federation, and in this video I'm going to be going through the Shahadah, which is part of the Islam Practices unit of the AQA GCC specification, and you can see there on our checklist on what we're going to try and go through today. So, the Shahada. The Shahada is the Muslim declaration of faith. It's the first pillar of Islam in Sunni Islam. So the Shahada is used in many ways. Two ways you may use the Shahada in the Muslim world is number one, through conversion. So if someone wants to convert to Islam, they recite the Shahada and they become a Muslim. Obviously, when they recite the Shahada, they have to know what it means and they have to know what it implies, what it means they have to do then. So you can't just do it for the sake of it without knowing what you're getting into, because you have to know that if you say the Shahada, you're now joining Islam as a religion. And number two, the Shahada is also used in birth and at death. Where? So for example, when a baby is born, it's traditional for someone in the family to recite the call to prayer in the ear of the baby, and part of the call to prayer involves the Shahada. Also used at the end of life. So again, if someone knows that they're coming towards the end of their life, particularly those people who are terminally ill, then they'd want to say the Shahada as one of their final statements before they die. Or if they die suddenly, you'll find the Shahada being recited and repeated and chanted quite often at a Muslim funeral, almost reminding the person dying that when you go to the grave, remember the two key beliefs of Islam: belief in God and belief in the Prophet Muhammad. Why is the Shahada important? Well, you could say that every other practice comes from the Shahada, because the Shahada emphasizes the two key Muslim beliefs: belief in Allah and belief in Prophet Muhammad as the messenger. If a Muslim does not believe in those two things, then obviously the other practices aren't going to work. I pray because I believe in Allah and I pray like Prophet Muhammad. I fast. I fast because I believe in Allah and I fast the way Prophet Muhammad taught. So the Shahada is something that underpins all the other practices of Islam. So it's a very important thing. As mentioned, it summarizes the two key beliefs of Muslims: belief in Allah and belief in Prophet Muhammad as a messenger. The Shahada itself is a source of authority. So you can see the Shahada says there is no God except Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. So that is what the Shahada is and what it means in English. And you can see it's a very simple phrase, and it is translated in different ways. Some translate it as there's no one worthy of worship except Allah and Muhammad is the messenger. But regardless of how you translate it, it kind of means the same thing. It emphasizes the fact that there's only one God, so it's Tawheed, and it emphasizes the fact that Prophet Muhammad is the other source of authority for a Muslim in terms of as a prophet. So that is what the Shahada is, how it's used, and why it's important. So in a 4-mark question on practices, usually the exam question will always be around 2 ways it is practiced. So in this topic, the question is going to be explain 2 ways the Shahada is used by Muslims. So do pause the video and have a go at this, giving yourself a time limit of around 3 to 4 minutes. Here's how you may want to answer this question. One way is when converting, so I get 1 mark for stating the way it's used by the Muslims. Now I have to explain it. When someone wishes to join the Islamic faith, they are expected to verbally say the Shahada to declare their faith. 2 marks. Another way is before death. 3 marks. Muslims would try to make the Shahada their final words so that their faith is strong before they die, and that becomes 4 marks out of 4. 2 clear ways Shahada is used by Muslims, both developed, 4 marks out of 4. Now, for a 6-mark question for this topic, there's really only one way they may ask about this. Explain 2 reasons why the Shahada is important to Muslims. So again, in this answer, I'm not expected to tell me how to use the Shahada. It's more about why it's important. Okay, so making sure we hit the criteria of 2 developed points, and in one of the points we have to be using a source as well as an application. So again, if you want to have a go at this, feel free to pause the video and give yourself 4 to 5 minutes to have a go at this question.
Now, if I want to look at a model answer for this question, here's what an answer may look like. So one reason is because it is the first pillar of Islam. The other pillars come from the Shahada, as without believing in it, a Muslim wouldn't perform the other pillars. So I get 2 marks there for a develop point. What I'm trying to say here is that without the Shahada, you're not going to do the other pillars like prayer, like fasting, like charity, like Hajj, the pilgrimage, because you have to believe in Prophet Muhammad and Allah to obviously do those duties. What about the second? Because that's going to be the one where I'm going to use a source and application. Another reason is that it emphasizes 2 key Islamic beliefs. The Shahada says there is no God except Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. So notice there I've used the Shahada as a source for my quote, which is absolutely allowed to do because the Shahada is a source of authority for Muslims. This shows that the Shahada includes belief in Tawheed and Risala, prophethood, which is the foundation of Islam because all other beliefs come from these. Now you can notice in the last 2 lines, I've got my application and development there in kind of one sentence, which again is absolutely allowed. So again, this would get 6 marks out of 6. The first paragraph gets 2 marks because I've got a develop point, and the second paragraph gets 4 marks. I get 2 marks from the develop point, 1 mark from the source, and the next mark from the application, which makes it 4 marks, and therefore 6 marks out of 6.